Hey everybody, this is Volen in Pursuit of Art. I want to talk to you guys today about something that I consider to be pretty foundational in the acquiring of any skill or any trait. It's basically the gateway to improvement. Now, some of you may have heard about this concept of the growth mindset. This is essentially that, but I'm not going to present it as a definition. Instead, I want to give you more of a use for it. Because a couple of years ago, when I was first starting out with all these things and I was discovering things like the growth mindset or people talking about it, people that are very high level at something, talking about how they've gotten there. And you get to the stage where, okay, like the ideas are available now, but what do I do with it? Once you do get the growth mindset, okay, cool, so now what? There's still a whole bunch of work to be done. You're still at the bottom if that's where you start from. So, okay, cool, this growth mindset thing, I've got it, but now what? So this idea that I want to talk to you about, I call it everything is built. And I want to talk about this because over the years, people have asked me questions that, to me, it just clearly indicates that a lot of times we take for granted things that we think we should be able to do. We look at someone do something, like, hey, or be something. Like, hey, that guy, he's very disciplined. Like, maybe they work 15 hours a day. Or, hey, this guy, he's good at 3D or 2D. I'm not good at those. I'm good at whatever it is that I do. But this guy, he does, let's say, this other thing that I don't do. So they're like that, and I'm like this. And this, like, it's easy to see this when it comes to skills, but it's actually traits that I'm more interested in talking about. Like I said, looking at someone and saying, hey, they're disciplined, they're hardworking, they're motivated, they're passionate about their thing. And I want to say that those things, I think normally we look for those and we think that that's just how someone is. But I'm going to tell you that those things are built as well. So this is going to be the topic for this video. It's going to be that everything is built. And the implications for that are, one, you can acquire or become anything that you would like to be more of. We all have set points that we start from, so I'm not going to discuss talent versus skill. We all have, like in an RPG game, we all start with a certain amount of points and they're just distributed differently. Some people are 5 out of 10 at everything. They start off very well-rounded. Other people will have a 10 at something, but then like a 2 or a 1 on something else. So I think we all start with pretty much the same bag of points. Some people may have a few more. That's just how life goes. But I think a lot of times everything is just redistributed a little bit differently. So I want to talk to you about the twofold idea of what everything is built means. You can acquire anything. This is number one. But then two, it means that you actually have to build it. That's why I word it that way. It's because it's not, hey, I need to work harder. Or it's not, I need to be more disciplined. It's, I need to build my discipline. Or I need to build my wobbly stick figures into figure drawings. I need to build those. Everything gets built. And the implication is that it takes time. You don't just get to look at something, feel like, hey, I should be like that, and then when it doesn't happen, you get disappointed or you stop working because it just doesn't work the way that you thought it would work, right? So you just abandon it. Hey, this is what I thought it should be. Hey, mine is crap. I'm going to quit. I'm going to go do something easier. This is a lot of times, I think, how we just give up because we don't get the fact that everything is built. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to give you a quick little definition here of the growth mindset. If you've never encountered this before, I highly recommend that you go on Inside Quest. It's a podcast. You can find it here on YouTube or you can go on iTunes. You can find it there. The host, Tom Bilyeu, who's an amazing guy, he talks about this idea being one of the most influential ideas of his life. He says that that's when he pretty much got out of the matrix, is the way that he puts it. It's the thing that changed his life, basically. Knowing that he wasn't fixed, that he could change. And the lady researcher that actually wrote about this first, her name is Carol Dweck. You can also find her on that podcast, so you can hear them talk about this stuff and a lot of its implications. So the growth, also Josh Waitzkin, by the way, who I've referenced before, the chess prodigy, martial artist, etc. He also talks about this in his book, The Art of Learning. So this stuff is, I would say, pretty legit in terms of the people who are using it and who have found great benefit from it. A very quick definition of this is that first it was called entity versus increment mindset. Later was renamed to growth versus fixed mindset. So entity or fixed mindset is the understanding or belief that you are fixed, right? You're an entity. I'm like this, you're like that. These things I can do, those things you can do. You're better at those things, I'm better at my things. I am fixed. That's the fixed mindset, is you have these traits, and that's pretty much how you are. Now the growth mindset or the incremental mindset, which by the way translate incremental to everything is built, same idea. I didn't even know I'm stealing it that much. So incremental mindset and growth mindset, those are through hard work and through perseverance and through doing more of something, I can become anything. So they did this test with like kids. They would give them a hard test, and some kids would give up, they would procrastinate on it, they wouldn't want to do it. It was difficult, right? They were getting frustrated. They had this belief also they were fixed, so that meant that they probably weren't smart enough for the test, right? So here's that implication of being fixed, is if this thing is hard for me and I am fixed, then I must not be smart enough for this thing. So I'm either going to go do something else, or I'm just going to do badly. And by the way, some people take this to an extreme and they'll go, well, I'm not good enough, I'll do badly, I may as well do horribly, right? So they'll just exaggerate the badness. So they'll do the test worse, just so they prove that they already knew and they didn't have to try, right? We do self-sabotage in that way. Very common. I've seen that a lot with art practice. When people have to establish something or when they don't know how to proceed, they'll just go ahead and do random stuff because, hey, I thought I was going to fail anyway, and like, I didn't want to seem like I was trying, so I'll just do a whole bunch of stuff here and meh, voila, right? Have a look at this. Now, another group of kids, when they had the hard test, they were actually excited. And the lady researcher, Carol Dweck, what she said was, what the hell is wrong with you kids? Like, why would you be given something that's horribly difficult? Because the test, I think, was actually rigged. It was supposed to be too hard for any kid. But some kids would be like, I like a challenge. Or, I'm going to learn something today. Kids say the darndest things, don't they? So some kids would be really excited to do the thing that they couldn't do. Other kids would cower away from it and self-sabotage to not have to go through that. Just thinking about that implication, just that one little example, is essentially the way that you could live your life. You could either have things that you understand are difficult, but you can go through and you can learn from, or you're fixed, they are too hard, they're level 7, you're level 3, I'm just not gonna go for those level 7 things, I'm gonna go do other stuff. And I've done this for a very long time. When I was first growing up, I was in a very fixed environment. Everyone around me was kind of doing things they were unhappy about. The environment was fixed, which is the thing that was forcing them to do those things. And then by definition, the people were fixed because they had to conform to that environment, right? So they couldn't grow. The environment didn't grow. So everyone was fixed. And I was fixed too. I thought I had to do a lot of stuff that I thought basically that work was kind of equal to slavery. Like you can just go do stuff, but you will not enjoy it. And you have to do meaningless stuff that's just dictated by meaningless purpose. Because I'm not going to get too deep into this stuff, but the country I was born in, it switched from communism to capitalism like the year I was born in. I don't know if they did that for me or not, but that's what happened. So it was a pretty fixed place at the time. You couldn't really do much of what you like. Everything is different now though, right? Internet, everything else, growth mindset all around. It doesn't matter where you are now. It doesn't matter the environment so much. You can grow wherever you are. Internet unlocked that. It opened it up for me too. So I was very fixed when I was first starting out. So 2013, when I decided to learn to do art, in whatever. I didn't know exactly what that meant at the time, but that's what I stuck with. And I did that because I thought it was impossible. So even that, by definition, is, hey, that's fixed, right? I don't know if it's possible or not because I don't know if I'm adaptable. I don't know if I can change or not. So by definition, this thing could be impossible. But let's test it. So that's what I started doing. A couple of years later now, so about 4 years later, I'm pretty much certain that this thing is not impossible. Now I know there's limitations. I know that there's some people that are born, like I said, some people have their points distributed in another way. I'm not going to try and compete with someone that has done something their entire life and they're also naturally gifted at the thing that I've ended up doing. That person you probably cannot beat at their game, but you can definitely contribute. You can definitely find things that they're not doing, because if they're focused on one thing, by definition, there's so many other things that you could go ahead and implement, and you can build your work in a different way. I'm pretty much certain now, after 4 years of doing this every day, that there really is nothing that you can't learn, but the only thing, or you can't become better at, let me put it that way. Like, you can't become Kobe Bryant, but you can definitely play better basketball. You can definitely improve to a very high level compared to where you were before. So your traits, your skills, your characteristics, they're all very much malleable. And to your brain, really almost anything is a skill. Figure drawing is a skill. Motivation is a skill. Discipline is a skill. Working consistently, perseverance is a skill. When I first started out, and again, I'm only giving examples for myself just because I can give you some experience. Like, I've actually seen this example. Now, for you, it may work a little bit differently. You will have a different starting point, but this is like a real world case that I saw. It was me. So when I was starting out, very fixed mindset, didn't know if I could do anything or not. I definitely had put myself in a lot of places where everything was fixed and very low level, because that's how I thought you were supposed to do stuff. That's where I thought you belonged, right? So unlocking that too, just going for harder stuff, because the growth mindset, right? Being one of those kids that's like, I will learn something today. Everyone looking at you, throwing horrible things at you and kicking your chair as soon as the teacher turned around. But that could be you. And that means that you open up to a lot of new things that you could do. So I'll give you a couple examples here of things that we normally take for granted that we should be able to do. So I said there's two facets to this thing. One is that, okay, you can improve at anything. You can become better at it. Okay, that's cool. But even once you understand that, you're still at the bottom, right? Or you're still wherever it is that you are right now. You still have a ton of work to do. So even if you do have a growth mindset, you still have years of work that you have to do. And if your perseverance or motivation or clarity of idea of why you're doing it in the first place, if that thing falters, then you're still not going to push through, regardless of how growth mindset you are. So this is the other side of everything is built. This is the construction side now. The fact that everything is built, meaning that everything is acquirable, everything is just a structure, but then also you have to put it together. You have to actually go ahead and build it. That's why I chose that. You have to build it, just the same way that a structure is made. And the same way that a structure is made, that sometimes you erect stuff that is actually not necessary for the final. So like you'll need a scaffolding sometimes to build a house, right? That means that you may have to construct habits, let's say, or do certain things that later on you'll get rid of, but you needed those training wheels for a while. So this idea progressively gets more and more complex the more that you explore it. But here we go with a couple things that this is stuff that I've done with students. One of the first things that we have to do is we have to build their practice, right? People come in, they have this expectation that, they should be working 4 hours a day, 6 hours a day, 16 hours a day. And shout out to Oliver here, who has been struggling with this stuff for a while. And he sent me a couple messages recently to talk about it again. And I think we talked about it before. So these things, sometimes they take a pretty long time until you're able to solve the problem. Finally figure out how to build this thing that you're working on. So this idea that you should be working 16 hours a day, 18 hours a day, there's those, stories about people that have become good through that. But at the same time, you don't know where that snippet of the story comes from. Did they start with 18 hours? Did they progressively build up to 18 hours? Was that 10 years into their practice? Is that occasional? One, it's not sustainable. You can't just do 18 a day, because if you just worked 18 a day, you wouldn't know what you're working on at some point. It actually becomes very important to step away, journal, figure out where you are, see what the big picture is, step away to get some good ideas about what comes next, and don't just be like not seeing the forest from the trees, right? You're just way too into it. You're in the forest. Everything seems like a tree and a forest because you're in the forest. Step away from the forest. Have a look around. Maybe you don't want to be in the forest in the first place. Maybe you want to go live in a cave or check out a city or a village or do something else, right? So if you're always stuck in that 18 hours work constantly grind mindset, you might actually be missing some pretty key big picture stuff that's going on around you. And let's say that that is true. Let's say that there are people that work 12 hours, 14 hours. That's certainly true. Vitaly Bulgarov, for instance, I think he's a great example because I think it's actually pretty easy for him to do 12 hours a day because it doesn't require effort anymore. He's been doing this stuff for 10 plus years. He's been doing the same subject matter, the same tools. I think by this stage, it's very easy for him to get into flow. It's actually pleasurable to do 12 hours because it's like a game that you've gotten really good at. Imagine now, so I'm going to give you this analogy. This is a beginner wanting to practice 12 hours a day and feeling bummed out that they're not working enough. And that, by the way, in turn, makes it even less likely that they're going to work more because now they're constantly having to battle this feeling of I'm not doing enough, like this disempowerment thing of I'm not doing well enough. It's just not, I don't know what to do for that long. I'm just sitting there, or I'll do a little bit, but then it's just too frustrating and too hard. So I'll switch over and like maybe play a YouTube thing that just distracts me. Maybe that's what you're doing right now, but that's cool. Just stay with my videos. They're good for you. A beginner versus a pro, when they practice, when they're doing whatever it is that they do in art, like whatever subject matter they do or whatever medium, like if they're doing 3D or 2D or whatever it is that they're doing. A beginner working at that is like, imagine you're just playing a new game. Like imagine you're playing like a crazy Super Mario and all the mushrooms and stuff, whatever it is that you have to fight there, like crazy bees, and imagine all that stuff was like on steroids. So like they take double the amount of space on screen. They get you like just easily. Like imagine that all the mushrooms had like laser eyes and they had like fire butts and whatever else, right? They just, whenever they see you on the screen, also you can just randomly die, right? You flash on screen, there's Mario, there's no one around you, and you just randomly die because the game just decided like, hey, just whatever, just kill him. Dead, like you just die randomly. That's a game for a beginner because when you're playing with all the skills that you have in your brain for art, when you're engaging with that activity, games are very much rigged to put you in a flow state. Like they're made so that you can win. They're made so that you get pleasure from playing. The game designers know what frustrates people, so they make it so that people aren't frustrated, so they actually enjoy problem solving, because that's what games are. Games just give you problems to solve. And that could be shooting someone faster than they shoot you. It could be just moving pieces around in an actual puzzle game. Like in action-adventure games, what do puzzles have to do with like shooting bad guys? But they mix together, right? They're all problem solving. They give you a break from one puzzle, they give you another puzzle. It's all problem solving. Now, when it comes to practice though, you're actually starting and you're playing a game that you are not really familiar with, so you don't know how to play. It gives you zero instruction, so there's no tutorial, and also just randomly kills you. It gives you stuff that you think you should be able to do, but it actually shows you that you completely suck and like this game is not for you. Because that's how we structure our practice. We make it too hard, we make it too long, we don't know what we're supposed to do, we don't know what the next thing is. You rig the game against yourself, basically. You will never enjoy that game. Now here's Vitaly, and he's been playing the same game for 10 years. He's learned how to struggle and grapple with like all the toughest bosses. He knows all the combos, and he's just now looking for different ways of how he could win. It's like, hey, can I beat that final boss with just like the stupidest gun or like whatever the first weapon is? Like, can I just beat him with like a latex glove, like just keep on pinching the glove and just smacking him? Can I just kill him like that? Can I do that? He's gotten that good. So his 12 hours, he's actually exhibiting mastery, which to your brain, when you get to practice a skill that you're masterful in, that actually gives you good chemicals, right? When you're doing something that you suck at, you're kind of in a stressful zone. Your brain is going to give you some cortisol, some adrenaline, some impulses that are like, no, I need to get away from this. This sucks. I'd rather do almost anything else. Let me go peel potatoes. Like, when was the last time I peeled a potato? I need to go peel a potato right now. You'll want to get away. Fight or flight, right? When you're in mastery, though, you're actually dominating. Your testosterone is up, your dopamine is up, you're happy, you're excited. Like, you're going to wrestle with this thing. Like, just bring it on, dude. I know exactly what you're going to do. I've watched tape of you. I've done all my tools. I know exactly what, like, just bring it on. Even if I lose, I'm not going to lose. Like, you can just put me down for a little bit, but I'm going to turn those tables around. Like, that's going to be reversed. I can't lose because I've seen it. I know it. I may not win today. I'm going to win tomorrow. That's his mindset. The beginner's mindset is it's all hard. It's super confusing. It does not reward me because at the end of the day, I have this squiggly, weird drawing that I want to step on repeatedly, set fire to it, take it outside, feed it to some gremlin, just cut it up, chop it in pieces, whatever it is, right? Something so ugly your grandma wouldn't like. That's what you end up with at the end of most days. And at the same time, if you're grown, like if you're in your 20s, 30s, whatever, then that's even more panic mode inducing. Because now it's like, okay, it's life or death, right? It's career, it's work, it's money, it's everything. It's either going to work and your life is going to be associated with this thing, or it won't. And you'll have to do something else. And for a lot of us, there's like no second option. Chances are, if you're going for this thing, it's like your first thing that you've picked, or maybe your second thing, and you don't really have a good alternative, right? You probably haven't spent years in law school, and then all of a sudden, hey, I may be an artist. Let me just check this weird guy's videos out and see what he says about grandmothers and art. Let me see what he says. Chances are that's probably not the demographic, right? It's just this or nothing. And a lot of people had that mindset. You can check out a blog post I wrote for Shadi Safadi. It's on the blog. He had that. He actually went through art center for 4 years and still was, I think, in a cafe after that for like a year or something. So a lot of us are in like do or die, or that's why it's very panic inducing. It's just stressful. This is what I want to do. I need to be good at it. I suck at it. Damn. That is not a fun game. And then there's Vitali, who's just like, his joystick has like 14 different sticks and 30 buttons, and he's just having a good time every time. It's his mastery domain. That's built too. Going back to the original topic and wrapping up, that's built as well. He started in the same place that we are, right? He started with frustration, with anxiety, with uncertainty. Then he built some skill. And then through building some skill, he also developed some confidence. He, knowingly or unknowingly, developed the growth mindset too. Of like, hey, whatever it is, this is why this art stuff is so valuable. It's because it forces you. It forces you to have to either accept that you can improve, and thus also accept the fact that maybe you are not using your time in the best possible way so far, and that it's all on you now to get better. It forces you to acknowledge that you can improve, or it forces you to just, okay, shut down. Like, I see it's too hard. I'll go do something else. Maybe it's not for me. It forces you to, if you stick with it, it forces you to have to evolve, to become better. You can't stay the same person and improve, because you just have to develop so many characteristics, right? Build those. Build discipline. Build motivation. Like, here's a small list of stuff about you may think that you should just have, but this is a small list of stuff that you actually build. Being motivated, passion, perseverance, sticking with stuff, like just not giving up when something's hard or when it's uncomfortable. Straight lines, right? So we said it's characteristics, traits, it's also skills, just straight lines. To your brain, it's kind of the same. Hey, I can do straight lines. Hey, I can also go to the gym when I don't feel like going to the gym. They're both skills. And the more that you do them, the more that you do go to the gym when you don't feel like going to the gym or doing your art practice, the easier it becomes later on. So like, in 6 months when you don't feel like going, but you've been going all the time, you don't even consider it at some point. It's like the struggle isn't really the same. You just kind of don't even have that feeling anymore when you've built up your characteristics more. Perspective, building things from the imagination. You can also check out a video that I have on that. Composition, being proactive, like putting stuff up online, looking for what the next thing is in your practice, clarifying your practice to yourself, being more organized, staying on top of whatever is coming next on what you're doing right now, taking a survey of what exactly is supposed to happen next. Am I just like practicing random stuff, or am I building something, right? Again, everything is built and you are the architect. Make sure that you're building it correctly, at least to the best of your knowledge. Being social, stuff like being afraid to put your drawings up online or to just like show them. Or like a lot of artists, right, are introverted. I'm introverted. I can talk here for 6.5 hours, but most of the time, the rest of the time, I don't really talk that much. I don't do a lot of the stuff that I'm doing here right now. But that's built too. That's built too. You can definitely be less or more social, depending on what you go for. Being open to new stuff, doing new things, either learning new software, learning new tools, doing your work in a way that you thought was not appropriate. For a traditional artist, that might be like using digital, using 3D, photo bashing, any of those things, right? So being open to new stuff. Dealing with complexity, that's probably a huge one. Staying organized in a world where all the time new stuff is being pumped out at a crazy rate. So dealing with stuff, actually holding off on improving on certain things so you can build other stuff. Everything is built. Your organization skill is built. I've said it about discipline, and I keep saying that one because I think discipline and the growth mindset actually need to go hand in hand. Because you can have the most positive growth mindset there is, like, hey, I can be anything, I can catch the biggest butterfly and it can give me little trips around my village all day and everyone will wave at me, and you can have all that stuff. You can think you can become anything, you can do anything, but at the same time, if you don't have, what do they call that? The rage to master. If you don't have that, which means there's also, there's a book called Grit. I can't remember where the rage to master comes from, but I think it might be from that book, actually. So if you don't have that stick-to-itiveness, and if you're not gonna sit with the discomfort and just be hard-headed enough to keep coming back and keep coming back, like go to the dojo, like, hey, you suck. Okay, day 2, hey, you suck more than yesterday. Okay, cool, go again. Day 3, day 4, day 1000, whatever, day 2000, whatever. Hey, you don't suck as much on day 1000. That's a good compliment. Hey, you don't suck as much on day 1000 as you did on day 999, really. So just keep doing your thing. They go together. Growth mindset, discipline, one needs the other, I believe. Because otherwise, growth mindset is just this idea of I am not fixed. Like, I'm this open system. You can have any input, any change on it, any effect. But unless you couple that with discipline to be able to execute on something and stay organized and take survey of what's going on and like actually build something, then it's just an idea. So I think we'll wrap up with that. Pretty long again. I hope this is useful to you guys. I'm certainly trying to give you some of the things that I found most useful. I don't do too much like art, necessarily directly art related stuff. Like I don't do speed paintings or tutorials or stuff like that, because I think you can find just billions of those everywhere. So if you're just looking for the technique, or if you're looking for just how someone does something, you can find those easily. But I don't think you'll find many people that will actually talk to you about how to utilize it or how to acquire it or what it takes to improve. Not just someone that's actually improved and just showing you how they do something. I'd really appreciate some comments to let me know what you guys struggle with. If there's anything that was unclear from this video, so I can make another video from that and clarify that for you. Some people have asked how they can support the channel, so I've made some temporary links. Those are in the description. Thank you to anyone that wants to support the channel back. You will be supported right back with more content. So I'm actually thinking of starting a Patreon at some point. I'm just looking into how that works and what it is, really. I've not really looked into this stuff too much. I would actually appreciate some feedback very much if you guys could let me know, if I were to make a Patreon, what would you like as rewards? Would you be interested in seeing, let's say, how I learn something, so like more behind the scenes stuff? Would you be interested in getting PSDs and work files, or would you be interested in me doing art stuff and showing you how it's done? Or would you be more interested in maybe participating more directly in the channel? So if I maybe make polls about future videos, or like give you things to vote on that can actually shape the channel and what direction we go in. Like, what topic should I cover next? What direction should I go next? Because these do take time to record. The more that I get supported from you guys, the more of my other time I can devote to this now, and hopefully at some stage just be able to produce content for you and help more people improve, develop the growth mindset, find that they're not fixed, and learn that they can pretty much do anything. I don't really think art is necessarily the final destination, but I think if you haven't mastered another skill and you've stuck with this for a while, I do think you have to get this done. Just because once you acquire one thing, once you do one thing, what's that Miyamoto Musashi quote, right? Know one thing and you will know 10,000 things. That might be actually the Tao Te Ching. But anyway, I'm pretty sure that in both of those you might find the same idea. Know one thing and you can do anything else. So yeah, appreciate your support, appreciate your questions. All these videos come from your guys' questions. I'm basically talking about things that I have found, things that I've done with people that have come to me to like help them get better, and things that I've experienced. So shoot me more questions. They help me make better stuff for you. You can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, if you're looking for more of the art stuff, so you can see what I'm up to. And I'm 2 weeks ahead. Like I've said before, I'm 2 weeks ahead with actually recording these, so you're going to get this 2 weeks from now. So the conversation may seem a bit disjointed. Also, by the way, for the Patreon thing, there will probably be like a group session thing that we get to meet like once a month maybe. Also thinking of putting the mentorships there, because that's something that I've never actually advertised. People have just come to me and asked for it, and I've kind of booked like fully because I don't have too much time. But that will be something that I'm willing to put on there. Anyway, just let me know what you think. Give me your ideas, because you guys always help me when you give me ideas and comments. Go say hi to your grandma and share this video with everyone. And by the way, why you're saying hi to your grandma is because you're also asking her to go like that video by that guy. It's probably not going to work out well. I don't think she'd know what the hell I'm talking about. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this gives you some good ideas. Keep on doing what you're doing. Get that growth mindset going. Build the growth mindset. And I will see you soon. Thank you.